I guess you can see that I'm finishing my desk. I finished making all the parts today. I put the frame together today, and it's ready for final assembly right after I get all of the parts finished. I want to get at least 2 coats of water-based polyurethane on everything here before I put it together, and then I may give it another coat. But kind of running short of time. I wanted to get this done, the project done for Sunday. However, it's Thursday. It's Thursday late afternoon right now. I recorded, I think, 40 clips yesterday and another 60 clips today. So that's 100 clips to edit into the video. And then I'm looking at this and I'm saying that this is a nice design, and that maybe I should make plans for it that would, I would sell on my website. And whenever I make plans to sell, that's a big deal. That's a lot of work. I'm gonna find a place to stand this up. I'm actually painting the underside of these panels first. This is the top, the bottom part of it. That's the computer tray that goes on the bottom side of it. I paint everything. I don't half-ass that. I do all sides whenever I do something like this, because it pays off. This part here is the footrest, and that goes down there. So yeah, like I say, I like it. I had it temporarily put together there and looked at it, and I said, this looks good. So I want to make plans for it. The best way to do plans, though, is to release them at the same time as the video comes out, because that's when it gets the most attention. If I put this ahead until next weekend, I'm running the risk of actually losing interest in it. I don't know what it is. I used to build things I used to build electronic things, and you'd be really gung-ho for building it, and you get it built, and then come time to turn it on, and whew, the anticipation, you pretty much do anything to avoid turning it on for the first time to see that thing go up in smoke. So, which is the top, but this is the bottom here, so I'll do this one. This is the keyboard tray here, the bottom of it. So yeah, I don't know, and that carries through. That carries over into just about anything I do. I don't know. Like, all of the videos that you watch are basically, I've just finished them. I don't stockpile anything, because if I have time to think about them, I'm second guessing myself. I want to redo things. I think it's no good, a pile of shit. Okay, so all of those surfaces are done. I already did the underside of this frame. It's dry already, actually. That's what I love about this stuff, this water-based polyurethane, is just how fast it dries, and also the way it makes the wood look, especially this wood here. You'll see it shortly when I get some on there. It doesn't turn it yellow like oil-based polyurethane does. Now, you can get water-based polyurethane that does that, actually, although I don't know why the heck you would want that. I actually bought a can accidentally, and I've been using it out there in my workshop on my miter saw station. English, do you speak it? You can fill in the rest of that if you're familiar with it. I said I was allowed to swear on here, but I don't know, there's something about making videos now for me that stops me from doing that. It's an unnatural act. So you can see the color comes out. It really brings the grain out, not like oil-based does, but you know, better in a way because it's a more natural color. And it stays that way. It doesn't get yellow over time. So you've got that very pleasant, almost peach color on the wood that I really like. And that's one of the reasons why I like spruce in particular, because it goes that nice color. I'm happy with the desk, the way it turned out, and how easy it was to build. It took no time. Like I said, I started this yesterday afternoon with raw materials. I had to size everything, plane it all down to thickness and all that. And it's, I think, 4:30 right now, and like it's done. It's fully built. All the parts. I use Baltic birch plywood for the tops. I figure I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do any edge treatment on these. I didn't want to edge band them. And Baltic birch plywood is about the only plywood that you can leave raw like that and it still looks pretty good. So it's expensive. I've had this stuff here for several years actually, but a project like this is worth it because this is going to be around for a long time. And I'm going to get a lot of use out of this. I'm actually chomping at the bit to get at this or sit down at this now that it's nearly finished. I had a comment a little while ago. I just came in. One of the first things I do after I come in from the shop is I quickly read through my comments. I had one on this channel. A guy asked me, why so many channels? Why so many channels? I stumbled across this one accidentally. I explained that actually in the other video, but I guess he never watched it, but I'll explain it again. It's to keep the content separate. I do different stuff. It's not radically different, but it's different enough that it should be on a different channel, like especially my home renovation stuff. The idea for this channel was just to post whenever I do a specific operation, like I showed cutting that 25-degree angle. That's the first video on this channel actually. And I don't release that to public on my other channels. I've had videos like that on my other channels, and then I think that they actually damage my ranking because they don't get as many views. They get, because they're not public videos, they're only really available through my website. So it's only the people that visit my website that watch those videos. Those are the only views. So this channel was mainly for that kind of video. It was also for this kind of video that I'm doing right now, where I'm just talking about shit, you know? I don't like to do that very often because I'm not very chatty, you know, and I'm not so full of myself that I think that everybody's so fascinated with my life and all that, that I gotta do, you know, weekly or monthly vlogs. That's not my deal. I'm basically on here on YouTube to make projects and do this kind of stuff that I'm doing right now, painting this. So I figure if I'm showing me painting it, I'll talk while I'm doing it. And you get to hear me prattle on about bullshit, which some of you have said that you want to hear. So here you go. You get your wish. Everybody should get their wish. Everybody should get exactly what they want and deserve. Like I said, this kind of video right here, where I'm doing something like this that just wouldn't just wouldn't go. This is like a supplemental video. There's going to be several on this desk here actually. Some of them might actually come up before this one does, depends upon, because I already filmed some of it. And that was the other purpose of this channel, it was to put those supplemental videos up. I could post a video on a build, and rather than go into such great detail in that video, I could make a separate video on this channel. And if you want to see that level of detail, or that specific detail that I would be covering there, then you could go and watch that video. So this is one example here, minus the rambling. Oh, I'll try to get up here. Got one area left to paint in this back here. Saved it for the end. I'm pretty convinced that this is actually Douglas fir, which is interesting because there was quite a mix of wood used to build this house. This is one of the boards that was boarding up the inside walls on this house. You know, years ago, when I was younger and way more picky about things, I would have not used this. I would have went back into my shed and found another piece that more closely matches the grain of the wood I used here. The other thing is all these nail holes down here in this stretcher going across. That's something else I wouldn't have used. I would have, okay, if I had to use it, I would have ripped maybe 1/8 of an inch off of it and glued a piece on that thickness to cover up those holes, because that just wouldn't do me. The other thing here is all of these 2x4s that you see here, all the frame, are all the vintage ones, 2x4s, and they're all spruce, or I think this may be pine here, but this is new spruce up here, these brackets, and you can see the color difference between them. See how pale these ones are compared to these old ones here? Even though these have been cut down and planed down, there's a huge difference between this wood here and this wood right here. I get to do the whole thing over again, probably tomorrow morning. I'm about running out of gas. By that I mean energy. Still got lots of gas. I was everything when I was younger, okay? Less tolerant of things like that. Everything had to match to, everything had to be symmetrical and perfect, and now I like things that look different, that are, I don't want to see, you know, wall-to-wall sameness. I want stuff to stand out. I want stuff to look genuine. I want stuff to look not badly made. Don't get me wrong. It's not. That's not what I'm saying. I want stuff to look like it was not like shot out of a machine somewhere over in China. I'm not putting down China or anything, but that's where most of the stuff we get comes from these days. For good reason, because they're making it cheaply. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to talk about that kind of stuff in my videos, because that'll open up a whole can of worms in the comments, right? We don't need that. Yeah, this is looking good. I don't like the Baltic birch, the way that looks, as much as I like the spruce when this stuff goes on it. But it's still more than acceptable. I thought about maybe staining this or painting it, but I knew that I'd be happier if I kept it simple and didn't spend, you know, half my life on this, finishing this. how to have fun on this channel. This is the fun channel. That's what this is, the fun channel. The watching the paint dry channel. And listening to some douchebag who thinks he knows something channel. Well, you know what, at least I do know something. I know a few things. This is better than listening to some douchebag that actually doesn't know anything. I'm probably past the point where I need to be recording again, so I'm going to shut it down.